Hey everyone. Now, I will fully admit that I do not have the whole story on this video. I don't even have half the story. I did spend many hours trying to find it, but I unfortunately did not. I will tell you that I am showing you it anyways, not necessarily for the content of the case, but for the reaction of the attorney. Now, before they even start the hearing, we're going to hear from the attorney for the foster mother who has been keeping the children. And again, we're keeping with the theme of bad parents or a broken system, and I think this definitely will fall in line with those cases. So, before we get going, please take a moment and hit that like button. So, if you like court cases with a backstory, which we usually have, we just don't here, please take a moment, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and then go to that bell and make it shake like Penny's tail before the mailman comes. Yeah, Siggy agrees. I think he's gonna fall asleep sitting right here. That's how exciting these videos are. Look at what it does to my dog. Let's go to court.
This is the Richardson matter. And Mr. Hamker, before I actually call the case, I think I have to take up your motions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, one of the motions that I filed is probably not pertinent at this point due to the fact of some of the facts that have transpired in the case. I had filed an objection and motion to removal of the child from my client's care. I think that child has now been removed, so that particular motion probably is not relevant at this time. So I will withdraw that motion.
Okay, thank you.
I did file a motion, Your Honor. This is a complex family case, has many issues. I regret to say it, but in the 40 years I've been practicing law, I have never seen a child custody case short of death with more tragic child abuse, torturous child abuse in a family than I have seen in the records that have been filed by CPS. That's one of the reasons why my client has been so earnest. She does not want this innocent baby to go the route of countless other children born with. If you have not had the opportunity to read the permanency report filed by CPS on September the 25th, 2024, that report sets forth in it child after child and the atrocities that have been done to them, both physically and by pedophiles, year after year after year. I could not stand here and not file something in this case without hopefully bringing it to the attention of the court. I hope that the state CPS has brought it to your attention. If not, I ask the court, no matter what you do on any of my pleadings, before you rule on anything, you read that report that the state filed showing what kind of animals, or I mean people, that we're dealing with in this case.
I'm sorry, Mr. Trout.
Objection to that last statement, Your Honor. I mean, we're on the Richardson case and you were, yes.
Anyway, and for that reason, Your Honor, I filed an objection and motion for continuance in this case. I was under the impression Judge Baker was going to be hearing this case. I've been in Houston and just got back late last night. Nothing against you, but this is a complex case. I think judges, when they hear a case and have been with it since the very beginning, they know who the parties are. They have a feel for what's going on. And I think it's unfair to you as a judge to have to make a ruling on this type of case. And I think it's unfair to the child. And that is my other motion for you to rule on. It's either going to be agreed to or denied.
Thank you. Mr. Trout, did you have any responses?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor. As far as the objection and motion for continuance that was filed today, at this time, Ms. Cameron, Hamker does not have any standing to make any motions or to ask for any continuances in the case. He is not a party in this case at this time. The main pleading, I believe, that needs to be discussed today would be the petition for intervention that was filed back in September. Mr. Hamker and his client don't have standing at that time to file. They still don't have standing till this day to intervene into this case. His client she is a very good foster parent. She has done a great job. I'm not taking anything away from her in this case. But parents have been ordered, we were ordered to mediation. We were able to come to an agreement in mediation at that time. An agreed order has been filed with the court, signed by all parties and the mediation agreement attached. But Mr. Hammaker and his client do not have standing to intervene into this case at this point. The child was not in the home with the foster parent for the 12-month period that is required of a foster parent in order to intervene into the case. So we would ask that all pleadings be struck and them to be dismissed and us to finish our hearing today.
Your Honor, with all due respect, I'm just focusing on the one motion for the continuance, and then I would like to move on to my petition for intervention. I know counsel has argued both, but I'm focusing on the one at this point in time.
Well, unfortunately, sir, you can't bootstrap into a motion for continuance when you actually are not in the case. So the motion for continuance is denied.
All right. May I present my evidence on my intervention?
Unless you have something that's going to refute the 12 months.
Yes, Your Honor. The pleading that I filed, and it's curious to note, I filed on two different points. The state has responded on one point where they have filed that I did not meet the 1-year requirement. My client is 72 hours short of having the child for a year. That's true. But the other point that I filed on was, and which no response has been made, so I assume it's been waived since we've started this point, is 102.004, standing for an other person. Under B, it just says that if the court deems that another person has substantial past contact, then they may grant it subject to B1 if applicable. If you go over to 102 and you go to the B1 under C, that talks about where a child has to be eligible to be adopted before there's any other requirements other than substantial past contact in my reading and interpretation of the law. So I would like to put my client on the witness stand to prove up her substantial past contact. I assume there's no need to put on any evidence regarding the worthiness of the parents, since the state has not allowed them to be a managing conservator, either singularly or combined, but I'll be glad to elicit what testimony I can. But I think my client has the right under the law to file and argue and ask the court to consider them as an other person, since my client has taken care of this child more in its life than anyone else.
Well, Mr. Hamker, I believe that you are overreaching the jurisdiction. The judicial district that you are in has not ruled that you can go beyond reading the foster parent. There are some judicial districts in this state that have. I believe they're a little south of Amarillo, but your district, your judicial district, has maintained that foster parents must meet the 12-month rule. Even if you go under the 102.004B1, it still bootstraps back to the 12 months for the foster parent.
Your Honor, I agree with
in Amarillo, sir, you have no standing.
Your Honor, I would agree with you if that child is eligible to be adopted. But at this point in the child's life, it has not been listed as a child eligible to be adopted by CPS.
If you read some of the actual reports, in those clarifications as to primary, and then I can't remember the second word, whatever the second condition is, adoption is in there, and they have stated that that has been a consideration. That has been withdrawn, and apparently there has been, and the policy of the state of Texas is to keep families together as much as possible. So I'm going to have to rule against you today, sir. You do not have standing to intervene in this case. You have not met the 12-month rule, and I think the child has been taken out of the home, so you're not even close to the 365 days. Is that correct?
The child is no longer in the home.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Hamker. It was a valiant effort, but the time clock got you.
Your Honor, I would ask one thing. I'm just an old rancher that practices law. And even
Yes, sir.
though we're exiting this stage and probably never see you again, I would ask that you read that one report regarding all of the atrocities that have happened to children born into this family. And I would pray that you take that into consideration whenever you make your ruling, whatever it may be, on the rest of this case.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. It was very nice meeting you. And under other circumstances, it'd probably be much more pleasant. So thank you.
May we be excused?
Yes, sir, you may.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me get my document here. So now that we've taken up the motions of Mr. Hamker, then let's go on the record further and make announcements for the actual final hearing in this case. If I could have those, please.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We're present, ready, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Savannah Kincaid, I represent Miss Pineda. We're present and ready.
Lorraine Lucero for the father, Taurus Richardson, Your Honor. We're both present, ready.
Stacy Zabala on behalf of the child, you're ready?
And I do have a CASA, isn't that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. We have Anna Pineda, who is the actual advocate, and I'm Carla King with a volunteer supervisor.
Thank you very much. Mr. Trout.
Yes, Your Honor. As mentioned earlier, we have filed, all parties were sent to mediation. We did reach an agreement. That mediation settlement agreement was filed with the court on 9/23 of 24. We've also filed as of October 9th of 2024 an agreed order that has that mediated settlement agreement and all stipulations attached to it and in the order that was filed with the court for their consideration and approval. But having said that, if we want to prove up as far as what the agreement is, I would call Erica Cantrell, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Cantrell, if I get you to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Thank you.
Ms. Cantrell, state your name for the record, please.
Erica Cantrell,
And Ms. Cantrell, how are you employed?
the lead permanency specialist for St. Francis Ministries.
And you worked on the case and were a party to the mediation on the case involving the child
Yes, sir.
And at mediation, did the parties come to an agreement?
Yes, sir.
And the mediated settlement agreement was filed with the court on 9/23 of 24, correct?
Yes, sir.
Per that mediated settlement agreement, the agreement was that permanent managing conservatorship go to the department.
Yes.
Okay. That mom and dad stay possessories.
Yes.
That in this case, dad, who is Taurus Richardson, would pay child support of $175 a month, beginning on November 1st.
Yes, sir.
That at this time, mother will pay no child support in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Additionally, father would pay medical support of $50 a month, beginning on November 1st.
Yes. Yes, sir.
And mother would pay child support of $25 a month, beginning on November 1st. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There was also a step-up visitation plan put in as starting with father, that he will have possession of the child as follows. Once father completes 3 BIP classes, his psychosocial exam, 3 counseling session, and 3 parenting classes, he'll be able to have 30-minute, weekly 30-minute virtual visits with the child. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then once he additionally completes 3 more BIP classes, he'll be entitled to continue the virtual visits. And if he's able to travel to Amarillo, have 2-hour supervised visits with the child by St. Francis or his parents who are placement of the child at this time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or a designee approved by the department.
Correct.
And he shall continue to have those services and should continue to work services, including requested drug test. If he tests positive, the in-person visits will stop until he provides clean UAs.
Correct.
Okay. As mom, once final order has been put in and signed, shall have weekly supervised visits of 4 hours for a period of 3 months with Linda Del Toro, who St. Francis or a designee of St. Francis to supervise the visits.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then she shall have 4 hours visits specified above, additional to 2 hours of unsupervised.
Yes, sir.
And she'll continue to work her services as directed in the service plans, including drug screening and alcohol test.
Yes, sir.
And if she tests positive, she'll be returned to supervise for 2 hours each.
Yes, sir.
And is that the agreement that was reached at the mediation?
Yes, sir, it was.
And today, are you asking the court to follow that mediation settlement agreement and incorporate that into the final order?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe that's in the best interest of the child?
I do.
Child was moved to paternal grandparents' house. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And at this time, everything is going fine.
Everything is going good. There wasn't any fear or discomfort. I mean, nothing indicating that he didn't feel safe being placed there initially. So as of right now, everything is going really well. They're just building their relationship with him.
Okay. And again, best interest of the child. Child's doing well there, and asking that the agreement be followed.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Kincaid,
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Lucero,
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Zavala.
No questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any other witnesses? Mr. Trout,
No further witnesses on this case, Your Honor.
Ms. Kincaid, any witnesses?
I'll call Miss Pineda.
Ms. Pineda, if I get you to raise your right hand, do I see you anywhere? Is she on here?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, there she is. Hi, Miss Pineda. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ms. Pineda, you just heard Ms. Cantrell's testimony, is that correct?
Yes.
And you heard the mediated settlement agreement.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that your agreement?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Trout,
I have no further questions. No questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Lucero,
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Zavala.
Ms. Pineda, I know we have talked about this before, but you do understand that since Lazarius is placed with grandparents, that doesn't change your visitation with him. Correct?
Yes.
Meaning you can't just show up over at grandparents' house anytime you want, right?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Right. And you understand that, and we've discussed that in depth.
Absolutely.
Okay. No further questions.
Thank you. Any other witnesses, Ms. Kincaid?
No, Your Honor, I rest.
Ms. Lucero, any witnesses?
I'd like to call Mr. Richardson for a couple of questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Richardson, if I get you to put your camera on, please, and unmute. There you go. Raise your
Yes,
right hand,
ma'am.
sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Could you state your name for the record?
My name is Taurus Richardson.
Okay, Mr. Richardson, you heard the testimony regarding the mediated settlement agreement that we have now signed off on an order. Did you hear all the information that Ms. Cantrell stated?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, and are you in agreement with what was stated regarding your visitation, what you'll need to do, and the child support and medical support that you'll need to pay?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, and your son has been placed with your parents, correct?
Yeah, I guess. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you understand that, as Ms. Zavala was asking the mother, you just can't show up at your parents' house to see your son. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you'll have to go through the steps in order to gain the visitation that you agreed to. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Trout?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Richardson,
Yes, sir.
can you hear me good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mediated settlement agreement was put in, you understood all those. Looking back, I don't believe you've ever been legally adjudicated as the father. In the agreed order states that you are being adjudicated as the father. You're okay with being adjudicated, correct?
What does adjudicated mean?
Legally being named the father of the child.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do you have any dispute on that?
No, it's fine.
Do you and maybe the court should ask this instead of me, but do you want to speak to your attorney about that to make sure you understand the ins and outs on that?
Yeah, if it's okay.
Okay. Sorry, Your Honor, this is something that just popped up that I realized was not addressed earlier, so that's why I asked these questions.
Sorry, y'all.
So you're, okay, so you do not want a paternity test, or you do?
Oh, no, I know that's my child, Your Honor.
Okay, so you're in open court today saying, I want to be named the legal dad.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Thank you. Ms.
Yes, Your Honor.
Kincaid, do you have any questions of Mr. Richardson?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and then Ms. Zavala.
Mr. Richardson, I'm going to go a little bit further than your attorney. I know that you said you understand you can't just show up, but I want to make sure, do you understand that if you show up at your parents' house, that risks him being removed from your parents?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, nothing further.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Richardson.
Yes, ma'am.
And then Ms. Zavala, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
As the ad litem, are you in agreement with this?
I am, Your Honor. I do believe it's in the best interest of the child.
Okay. And you have spoken to CASA, and they are in agreement also.
I have, yes.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything further today?
Your Honor, I have a couple of things I'd like to say.
Oh, sure.
All right. Your Honor, in this case, we came down to the end here where the foster mom had, tried to intervene. We already took up that issue. I just wanted to address, since the beginning of this case, and I know that you weren't on the case, the paternal grandparents had asked for the child to be placed with them. They failed, well, not failed, but their initial home study was denied on, well, of course, what I feel were minor grounds. They weren't, until we got towards the end of this case, there was no communication, from what I understand, between the department and paternal grandparents. So there was never an opportunity to fix whatever issues the department thought that existed at the time. So that's why we got so into the case. Foster mother became more bonded with the child. But I just feel that, I would ask that if there's a family, member that fails or has a home study denied, that, the department reach out to them on a more regular basis to see if it's issues that can be addressed or cannot be addressed, and rather than get this deep into the case. So that's what I just wanted to bring to the court's attention.
I believe they call that rehabilitation, don't they? Okay.
So,
Well, maybe we all learned a lesson because this got very close to the 12 months.
Yes, ma'am.
So hopefully St. Francis has learned one. I know everybody's still on a learning curve.
that's
Anything
all
else?
I have, Your Honor.
That's fine, and a very valid point. Okay. Anything else? Okay, then I will bring forward the mediated settlement agreement as stated and proven up here in court. I will approve that. I'm going to assume that somebody's going to talk to the grandparents about things that they can do in case this case falls back on them, as far as kinship funds and things of that sort. Has that been done by St. Francis?
I'm sorry, the kinship, like let me start over. We do have kinship that has gone out to the home and
Good.
done some assessments and worked with them. So I think as long as we're formally involved in the case, they will assist and continue to help until we are officially dismissed. So they're going to have a lot of support until that
Good.
day.
Good. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Anything else today? All right.
Your Honor, may I address the court for a moment, please?
I'm sorry.
I just need to stand corrected with Casa. Is Julissa Castillo is on, she's the advocate, not Anna, but I did want to say that regarding this case, we like to bring out family strengths, and Miss Pineda, the mother, she has really made significant progress in completing her family service plan. And I just wanted the court to be recognizing that with her. I also want the court to understand too that CASA does go back out and we do check on children monthly. We have gone to the grandparents' home, and it seems the bonding is going quite well with.
And you're going to stay in the case.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Okay. Sounds like y'all got a good mediated settlement agreement, and hopefully the department won't stay in this forever, one way or the other. So, anything else? There will be a hearing. I guess we're going to go ahead and do it at 3 months instead of 6. It'll be for January the 2nd at 9 a.m. Probably be a good time to check in.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank y'all very much. We'll go off the record.
So, anybody else kind of surprised at the judge's reaction? Sorry, you missed the ball on that one. Like, sorry you missed the contest entry. You're not gonna get that extra box of cereal. We're talking about something serious here. Really blew my mind. Really did. I don't really know what to say. Except apparently I need to go rock my baby to sleep because it's nap time. So, thank you for sticking around. I am going to keep pushing things out. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like, subscribe button, hit that bell, and leave me a comment that you liked, shared it, did something. Use the hashtag Mike'sBack. I am going to do drawings because we are going to make a push to 100K because Mom's got to pay those bills. And in the process, I am going to be giving away some awesome prize packs leave a comment, hashtag Meg's back. But before you leave a comment, like share it so, you know, we get those numbers up so that I can give these prizes away. Thank you so much for sticking with me and all the support, and I will see you next time.